back to Classical Light AV Club again. We're here with Grace Kelly, who is probably one of the only people I've brought on that is younger than me. You're what? You're 22,
I'm
right?
22.
And I'm 24.
Ah,
So
okay.
you're, they have more accolades than I do. At my age, I gotta keep up with you, probably. But yes, you just played the Iridium last night.
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
It was so fun. I love coming to New York and playing, and part of me always gets really nervous because, you know, people here expect the best. I know the best jazz. We have this idea of our head of New Yorkers all in black and just so sophisticated and checking out the music like this.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not the case at all. Everyone
That's
was
really
super warm, like standing ovation. This is like one of the first times that they had me play an encore. Second set, the audience rocked, and I love that club. So it was great.
Yeah, it's a great club. Sometimes people can be a little too cool in New York City.
I know, but that
Yeah.
was not the case last night.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I saw. I think I saw Les Paul play at the Iridium. It's a really cool room.
I played with him.
Oh, yeah, really?
Years ago at
Oh,
the
wow.
Iridium. That's when
Nice.
I first went to the club, and I got to sit in with Les Paul,
Mhm.
and then now it's been so great to bring my own band there and play.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Les Paul.
I know.
Yeah, but wow, that's great. And so we know about you because we wrote about Working for the Dreamers, your music video that you put out through
Yeah.
us with us, and we loved it. We
Yay,
thought it was
thank
great.
you for putting that out.
I mean, I've been listening to it a lot actually.
Oh,
I don't want to
thanks.
sing along when I was recording it before,
Should've.
but
You were that nice.
yeah, it was a great video. It was a great artistic direction, great aesthetic
Thank you.
to the video, and I really liked the message that you guys put behind it. It was like
Yeah.
an artist talking about art, or an artist creating art, like in an artist studio. It was really great.
Yeah, it started, you know, I was working with a great director, Audrey Rosenberg, and she's actually been a childhood best friend to me, and she moved away when I was, you know, 7th grader, maybe even younger, and then graduated from USC, and she had a bunch of great folks. We filmed the video. There was like, you know, 15 of us in a room, and they rented this great artist studio. And when I was talking with Audrey about the idea behind it, I started thinking, you know, working for the Dreamers, what does it mean to live your passion and every day, you know, keep working towards that goal and that dream? And somehow it kind of transitioned into, you know, creativity and the artist within. And so we had it based in that artist studio, and then Audrey had the idea, what if we had sculptures, people dressed as sculptures come to life, and then later in the video, have them explore life, and then there's 2 sculptures in the video. And
Oh yeah,
people-
it's like there's like a man and then there's a woman.
yeah, and they
at the
kind of
end,
and they find each other, and so people can watch it. But it was an amazing experience. We had our makeup artist. She's done makeup for like The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, no, the makeup was great.
And from head to toe, like
Mhm.
white, and
Mhm.
so I'm glad you like the aesthetic of it, because that was important to me. How do I get this kind of dreaminess of the song and the vision of the song, and then have it translate visually?
Yeah, well, it didn't look like just like a promotional video. I mean, it was a promotional video, but it didn't
Right.
look like a promotional video for a promotional video's sake. It looked like there actually was something behind it, something you were trying to express with that video.
No,
which
we
is
really
great.
we put a lot of thought into it, so I'm really glad to get your reaction and other
Mhm.
people who've been saying that they really dug the vibe, because that was a big thing to us, like having the smoke machine on or whatever, just trying to make it fit the music.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great song, and I'm glad you got to perform it for us here.
Yeah.
You guys will get to hear it too after this. So you're from Boston,
Yes.
and you went to
Boston.
Berkeley. From Boston, Harvard,
Yeah,
or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah. But so at age 14, you did something pretty magnificent. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I've been in music, performing professionally since the age of 12. It's when I recorded my first CD. At the age of 14, I had an amazing opportunity come to me where I got to perform with the Boston Pops Orchestra, conducted by the great Keith Lockhart.
It's insane.
And so I remember Keith Lockhart said to me, you know, let's do a Don Sebesky arrangement of The Nearness of You with orchestra, and we did another one. He said, and then I want to feature your own song because I know you write, Grace. So let's break it down to your usual band, 5 members, and play your song. And I said to him, and you know, who knows why this crazy mind said this, but I said, well, Mr. Lockhart, you know, I'd hate to have the whole orchestra sit out. Do you think I could orchestrate it for the Boston Pops? And he looked at me like I had 4 heads, and he said, have you ever written for cellos and tubas and violins? I said, no, but you know,
Might as
how
well,
art
right?
could be.
Give it a shot.
So I worked with my composition for the next, my composition teacher for the next month and a half, learning all about, you know, violas and violins and trombones, and I wrote a 40-page score, and I didn't know if we were going to do it, because he said, if it's not good enough, we'll go back to plan A. But if it looks good, we'll do it. And he took a look at the score. This is the day before the performance, and he said, yeah, looks good, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that was it was just a dream for me to get to debut one of my own compositions with the Pops.
Wow, he's a very humble guy. I mean, you just take on.
Right?
Yeah, at 14, that's great.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, you're pretty bold for asking.
I was totally crazy, yeah.
But that's I mean, that's just like first of many accolades you have. I mean, the last one that that I think is amazing. One of the people that I would love to meet would be Barack Obama, and you had the chance to play with it or play for him with Wynton Marsalis, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Obama wasn't actually at the Kennedy Center.
Yeah, but it was the inauguration.
It was the inauguration. And it was a thrill. Wynton Marsalis was the musical director for that event, and he asked me, I want you to be part of it, so I performed with Dave Brubeck at the Kennedy Center, and there was so many great musical artists of all genres there. And it was such an honor, and to be in DC at that time the excitement was in the air,
Can't imagine,
it was definitely one that I will always remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everything was hard to navigate. It's hard to get
Oh,
place
yeah.
to place. Yeah, especially once the president moves, everything shuts down. So
Oh,
that you
man.
get to where he
Everything's
needs to go.
closed off, yeah.
You have to leave like hours before. I remember because when I was a kid, I went to Bush's inauguration, so I remember that a little bit. But not to talk about myself. So, that was a great thing for you, especially the Pops Orchestra. That was a great thing for you too. Is there any future plans?
Well, this new EP release has been what I've really been focusing on recently, and it's a very special one to me. This is my 9th release as a leader.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I've been making CDs since I was 12 years old. It just happened to be, my music teacher had said to me when he heard my original works of my singing and playing at the age of 12, Grace, you have to record what you're doing and document it. It's just amazing. And so it started out as kind of a home project and just documenting where I was. This release is really special to me because last year I moved to LA from Boston, and I've been working with the legendary producer Stuart Levine, who's produced everyone from Minnie Riperton, Dave Sanborn, Jamie Cullum, James Brown, the list goes on, and his son Sonny Levine, who's worked with great people, Rashida Jones, Skylar Johansson, Ariel Pink, Happy Mondays. And we got in a room, and what's different about this new sound for me is it's not just coming from an acoustic place. A lot of my other stuff kind of stems from acoustic jazz, although there's a very eclectic feel to it. But we're really integrating electronic parts with jazz and songwriting. And I'm singing, I'm playing sax, I'm playing keys. And it was really cool. I went into the room with Sonny, and he would make beats, and we would just loop things. And we came up with the song Working for the Dreamers, just built around this recorded guitar line.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of been the focus on my mind. I've been doing a lot of touring for it, which has been exciting.
I heard you were going to Berlin.
Prague.
Prague,
and different parts of Germany. That's next month, and I'll also be doing a West Coast tour.
Oh, cool.
And we just did a bunch of dates in Massachusetts as well, and Detroit and Indiana. So that's been, my first love is performing. That to me is why I do what I do.
Well, I remember we were also talking about on the phone, the idea of like programming and bringing, you said people have this idea that jazz was music, and you're trying to bring it to the foreground, especially with like a younger generation. And I think with programming you're doing that, especially with Waiting for the Dreamers, around the guitar lines and all the kind of, you could tell it's like there's some programmed drums in there's some programmed guitars, there's some programmed everything.
Yeah.
And it sounds great.
Thanks. I mean that's a really important thing. Being my foundation is jazz, but it doesn't stop at Charlie Parker and Miles Davis. Jazz is a continual, art form that should be pushing forward. And for me, being 22 in the world of 2014, I'm trying to take my foundations and what I love about jazz, and a lot of it is improvisation, and then take it to where I want to go, which is listening to music of today, whether it be, John Mayer and Fitz and the Tantrums, doesn't really matter, but take all of these influences and then bring it into my own thing to try to make something truly unique. And my hope is that I can bring a younger generation to discovering jazz and to say, wow, that's her roots, that's cool, well, who's Miles Davis, who's Charlie Parker, and then be able to find, gems.
Absolutely, yeah. And considering you're young yourself too.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, other than that, I don't really think I have much more to ask you.
You
Is there
question.
anything you want to say before we conclude?
Well, people can find out more about me than I even know about myself on my website.
Okay, is that GraceKelly.com?
It's GraceKellyMusic.com.
GraceKellyMusic.
If they go to GraceKelly.com, they get the princess.
Got you.
Which is good. They can visit that too.
She's alright. She's alright. I think you're better, but she's alright.
But GraceKellyMusic.com, and it's got all my tour dates and all the newest stuff that I've been doing and videos and fun stuff.
Cool, and we'll link you guys to that too
Awesome.
on
Very
the page
cool.
too. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.